right, Shalom, Shalom. Ka'Allah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Bakahak Radash. Shalom and salutations and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. I continue to learn this 100% truth from Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Thumb. Shalom also to the speckled bird, the computer space, the Acumen Aqua. Shalom also to the elder bishops and the elders and the prophets, the teachers and the evangelists. Yahweh Yahweh Shai, Thumb. And again, shalom to the elect. Back again, another video. I didn't know that it was raining, so when I looked outside, because I wasn't feeling all that great in the beginning of the day, I tried to prolong it to go to camp. Therefore, I can still go outside. So it seemed like it stopped, but I have a plan to keep, my equipment out of the rain if it just becomes a spontaneous thing, that which it has been. I could just set up to where it doesn't put me in a disposition to be out on the highways and byways. So what's going on? Shalom to all of you. And on my way to camp, and I wanted to talk a little bit about what's acceptable to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So, I got a couple of scriptures I'm going to read, and pray that you be edified with it. And I'll quote some precepts, and some come to me, or if I get some. So normally I have a list, but I don't have that list today. I do have some scriptures that are just kind of lined up to speak on. But what's acceptable to the Lord is that you fear Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. That's acceptable. Repent and ask Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai for salvation, for mercy. That's acceptable. Ultimately, too, you follow the Lord's statutes and commandments to the best of your ability. That is acceptable to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. You have faith in Yahweh Yahweh Shai. That is acceptable to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. The things that I just named to you are all things that are acceptable to the Lord and His Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls JC. So I have a scripture here, which is Sirach 2:5, and it reads, "For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity." So the men of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, who are we like to say hopeful elects, are going to be tried as gold is tried. Really, the men who are the hopeful elect are the gold that will be purified through the adversity, and adversity is the fire. The things that they have to go through, the things they have to endure to the end, including if it means, and if it's written, death, to become a martyr, but to also be risen first, to join Yahweh Shai in the air, and have your bodies changed, and then to also have those new bodies. These are things that are acceptable to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and these are trials that we're going to have to go through. And Israel doesn't understand whether they know they're Israel or not, right? That they don't understand that, even though we have been through, the slavery and the beatings and the lynchings and the killings and the rapes, the cruelty, all the things that have kept us down and kept us under this devil's foot, which is part of the curses. Now we are at the end, in the latter days major prophecies coming to pass. The last one is the MOTB, which is about to pass soon, along with some other ones that are happening, like silencing of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua's prophets, famine, cannibalism, pestilence, anarchy. All these things are about to enter into this place, Babylon, as well as the world itself. But we know that there's little places that it's happening. But we're going to have to go through trials in that time. In this time, I would say, that we're in. A precept is 4 and 12. 1 Peter 4 and 12. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. So what does it say in verse 3? In verse 13? But rejoice, inasmuch ye are partakers of Hamashiach's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. His glory is the time that he's coming back. And he's going to be back real soon. What was that? And he's going to be back real soon. And when he comes back, he's only gathering his elect. He's not gathering everybody. And these who are his elect, which again we like to say hopeful elect, they're going to be the ones that are going to be going through things, and the world is going to witness, but they're going to stand firm, and the world is going to know too as well that these are the men of the Lord. These are the men of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. This is also in this process of trials and tribulations. Isaiah 4 and 1 takes place, because the women are going to see that these are the men of the Lord. Because what's coming next? We have WW3, where a lot of men and women are going to be slain, and the scriptures say that people, men and women, will mourn. Roughly paraphrasing two different scriptures, for not having a bridegroom or not having a bridesmaid. So, it's going to be a lack of people. The scriptures also talk about there's going to be a time where it's going to be like, what's that movie with Will Smith? He's out there, he's in New York City by himself. But it's going to be a time, I think it's in the Apocrypha, where it's going to be a time where men are going to be looking, I think it's second entrance, to hear another man's voice, and men are not going to be around like that. So we're coming to the time where heavy prosecution and destruction is coming. Evil time, right? Bad time is happening. And we're just gearing up to that. As you can tell, you can see. Sirach 15 and 15. And it reads, if thou wilt to keep the commandments and to perform acceptable faithfulness. So like, let me start from 14. Sirach 15 and 14. He himself made man from the beginning and left him in the hand of his counsel. If thou wilt to keep the commandments and to perform acceptable faithfulness, he hath set fire and water before thee, stretched forth thy hand unto whether thou wilt. So Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is going to take care of his own, and his own are going to be the ones who are going to be acceptable to understanding these laws, statutes, commandments, these prophecies, the different nations of men on the earth, and who they are, what they do, and they're going to be the ones that prevail. They're going to be the ones that's going to be able to make it. chapter 19, Sirach chapter 19 and 18. And it reads, like I was saying, what's acceptable. The fear of the Lord is the first step to be acceptable to him, of him, and wisdom obtaineth his love. So you have to, in order to know the Most High, you're going to fear the Most High. And if you fear the Most High, then yeah, you do know who Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is. And again, he's not nothing to mock and to play with. You must respect. And if you don't, Yahweh Yahushai, and if you don't, Salakia, it may be very well and make an example out of you. He preserve you for destruction and make it public. You should fear the Lord because, as Yahushua said in Matthew, fear him that can kill the soul and the body. Don't fear him that can kill the body. But we paraphrasing. So there's so much going on in the world right now where people are lost in the source, you can say, and they don't know exactly what's going on and what's happening. But what's going on and what's happening is the Lord's men know is that prophecy is taking place. And gradually, destruction is going to come upon this place and upon the people who are wicked and who are against Yahweh Yahushai. It has to happen and it will happen. Okay? Romans 12 and 2. And be not conformed to this world. So now is the time of any time to come out of this world. Be not conformed to this world. But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. So there's so much going on that you have to stay occupied in prophecy, roughly paraphrasing, and to the best of your ability, and so many things going on, do the will of the Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Right? Mark 3 and 35. For whosoever shall do the will of the Most High, the same is my brother and my sister and my mother. And that's Yahweh Bashim, and that's Yahushai speaking. Right? So this is what it's about. You got to do the will of the Lord in order to make it, because you're striving to be perfect, right? So this is what it takes. This is Ephesians 4 and 12. For the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Hamashiach. That is what we're doing to strive to be perfect. Okay? I'm not gonna hold you, man. I'm moving out and about for myself, trying to do what I got to do. But it also starts with your mind, with in the scriptures is reverence as your heart, but renewing of your mind is going to help you get to where you got to go and do what you need to do. This is Colossians 3 and 10. And have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge, after the image of him that created him. Psalms 51 and 10. Create in me a clean heart, O power, and renew a right spirit within me. Okay? This is what you want. This is what you strive for. Abarakazah. So, Abarakazah, you're edified with that, man. I just want to speak a little bit about the things that are acceptable to the Most High. And, I pray that you were edified with that quick in transit lesson that I was just speaking on. And, you know, I'll be able to do this other lesson, a good one, and you know, if you check it out, you'll be edified as well with that. Kahalo Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai Bahashem Rakak Radah Shalom. Again, in salutations and double honors to the elder apostles of GMS on down, and Shalom to the elect Shalom.